Hello, hello, hello. It's not just all NFL Draft Week on the Big D podcast. No, I've got a special guest joining us. But before I bring her in, please subscribe, like, and share the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page where you can see all my draft coverage. Also, check out the Big D podcast on Spotify and Apple. Well, joining us usually when she would joins us, it's from Sacramento, California, but joining us from Spain today is America's race walking chick, Robyn Stevens. Robyn, what the heck are you doing in Spain?
Dylan, it's always good talking with you. I have been here since March 7th. I came directly here from Oman, the Race Walk World Team Championships. And I'm here because my coach is Jacinto Garzon. He's Spanish. And he started coaching me a few months before the pandemic hit in December of 2019. And so I hadn't seen him in person since the time he started coaching me until the Olympics, until Tokyo. So that was my first time seeing him. And I knew that if I could just have him on site, I would get a lot more from his program. And so as soon as I could get out here, I got out here. So I'm out here training with him and my Spanish teammates. It's been incredible. They're all just an amazing group to be training with, a really positive environment. We also have a couple Ecuadorians who were my teammates on, I don't know if you're familiar, but at the end of the Race Walk Tour series for World Athletics, it's always the Chinese host this like huge event called Around Taihu, and it's a 3-day event, and it's always after Worlds, and it's a way to like for a lot of the athletes to make some money, but in a fun way. It's like the wild, wild west of race walking. So the two Ecuadorians that are here, Magdalene and Johanna, we were all on a team together in 2019 and placed third. And so in my heart, they're my teammates as well. So they're out here. Magdalene was here over the first 2 weeks, and then Johanna's here. And then all of my Spanish teammates, and it's just been incredible. And I'm here until after A Coruña. So I'm doing the whole World Athletic Race Walk Tour. A lot of the races are out here in Europe, so it's just easier to stay out here. Came at the sacrifice of missing basically all of my US titles this year. Wasn't able to defend any of those just because I felt like it was more beneficial for me, for my overall wellness, and just for my personal goals if I'm out here training with my coach and my teammates here and participating in the World Athletics Series as we get ready for Eugene. That's that's why the heck I'm here.
Isn't it true that you're living in a cave?
I am. They're really popular here. So I'm in Guadix. It's a small town, which fun fact, most of the very famous Westerns that Clint Eastwood was in and all that people are familiar with, mostly our grandparents, they were filmed here in Guadix. But yeah, the little cave houses are really famous here. So I wanted to make sure I had one since I'm going to be here 3 months. I wanted a place I could cook all my own food. It's controlled temperatures. So yeah, this is a hard rock behind me. I'm in my cave right now.
Yeah, that'd be better than my man cave.
Are you in your man cave? It looks like you're in your man cave.
Yeah, I'm in my office. So this past weekend, Robyn set a new American record in the 35K walk-in in 2 hours 49 minutes in a Dudince, Slovakia, which is actually a spa town. It's like one of the smallest. Its population's like what, 1,400 people. I think there might have been more race walkers than people actually in the city.
Yeah, it's like the first time ever, right? When the race walkers have taken over a town.
Wait till Eugene this year, then you're really gonna take over.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really exciting event.
Yeah, so
Um,
tell us about what your train did before the race, because it didn't always go well, because you, as we mentioned before recording, you A, stubbed your toe, and then B, suffered a very annoying hamstring injury a couple of weeks before the race.
yeah, it's not injured. At least that's what my physio here is saying, but it's super tight, like ridiculously tight. And if I'm not careful, I could injure it. So I've been needing regular body work, and my coach Jacinto has me set up with an amazing guy named Angel, who has actually been an angel for my body here with all the work that he's doing. But yeah, about a few weeks ago, I stubbed my toe because, as you mentioned, I'm living in a cave like the Flintstones. And so that means my bed, the mattress is comfortable, but it's on top of rock. And I stubbed my toe on it and thought I broke it, but it was pretty black and purple for several days. And I think that's what contributed to my hamstring being super tight from just overcompensation. And I'd been getting regular work, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But then Easter came, and it's a huge deal in Spain, Easter. And so they all go on holiday for about 2 weeks because they celebrate it for 2 weeks. So I went about a week and a half with no work on it. And it was just getting tighter and tighter. And about 6 days before the race, we were doing a 20K workout, and I actually had to stop and run because I was too afraid to, I didn't want to injure it for Dudince. So I just turned to my coach, and I was like fighting back, like tears of pain, like when it hurts so bad, just like, and I was just like, it's hurting and I don't want to pull it. I don't want to injure myself before the race. And I knew I was targeting, I actually set 3 American records, 6 total if you include masters, but 3 open. And I knew I wanted to go over them. I knew my training had set me up really well that if I felt good, I could likely break all 3, the 25K, 30K, and the 35K, and hit the standard for the auto qualification time for Worlds. But with my leg, and as history has shown itself, and my reputation with when I have body aches, like this year, like in January, I had to drop out of our national race. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was going to start protesting and screaming in the middle of the race, or how it would affect me. And, unlike with running, you can do whatever you can to get across that finish line. But in race walk, you can't do that because you can get DQ'd. So I really wanted to have a perfect race. It was my birthday week. So I was like, okay, I just want to walk this perfectly. And so on race day, I had walked it. I felt good. I went out pretty conservatively with my Spanish teammates, Mar and Andy and Marina, and felt pretty good. So then I started chipping it down to 440s per K and felt super comfortable, super relaxed. My coach, every time I went by him, because he was doing our aid, was like, descansa, descansa, Robyn, descansa, chunkia, chunkia. I'm like, I know. But then after a while, and I just kept staying on the 440 pace, that his tone changed, and he was just like, bueno, you look very good, Robyn, keep going. But you descansa, you can, because you're way under the time. And he knew I was going, he already knew what times I needed for the 25K, the 30K, and the 35K American records. So he knew I was like well below the 25K. So he's like, you can relax if you want. And I felt relaxed. I was like, but I am relaxed. The only thing on the back of my mind was I knew at any moment my hamstring could lock up. And so I was just hoping it would delay, and it did. So I was feeling so good till like the final, and it was right around the final, like 8 to 10K. I was thinking I'm going to start chipping down to like a 435 pace because I felt that good. I had no idea what place I was in, by the way. I didn't know I was in 4th. I didn't know I ended up fifth because when my leg did lock up, the girl that I had passed for fourth place, she ended up passing me back because I lost about 2 to 3 minutes. But I felt pretty good, like I could keep chipping down. And then 8K to go, my hamstring just went and it totally locked up. And I was going by another girl and I was just like, you know, and she's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, it's just my hamstring. And she just kind of looked at me weird. And then I just kept going. But oh my gosh, all the pictures that I've seen so far from the race, they must have taken it from early or late in the race because I'm like, you know, like my face is just like so in pain. And it was all because I'm just fighting through the pain of my leg. And only thing that was giving me confidence to keep pushing through was my physio said I wasn't injured. It's just stiff. And my, I talked to Percy from Sweden the other day because I told him, I was like, oh, I just remember your whole leg was bandaged up before Oman. And he ended up winning the 35K in Oman at our race walk world team championships in early March. And so I was like, I just thought of Percy was his whole leg like bandaged up. And I was like, okay, well, if he can win a race with his taped up leg, I'm fine. I'm going to be fine. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't slow down too much that I lost all, you know, like the auto qual. And then once I saw Vivian go by from Brazil, she was the one, because usually once I pass someone, I don't want them passing me back. So I was like, shoot, you know, because I had a pretty good lead on her. And then when the hamstring locked up, I lost about 2 to 3 minutes. So she got me back. But when she's one of my new field, we're now Kip Run, but she's part of the Kip Run family. So when she went by, I was like, okay, I just got to hang on. And I had a perfect race so far. No red calls, no yellows. So I was just like, I just got to get through with I do not want any red cards because of this stupid hamstring. So I was really surprised I didn't, because it was excruciating. But I just remember the day before the race when we were doing our shake, like our your muscle activation exercises for the race. My coach was running alongside us and he's like, Robyn, if your hamstring starts acting up, just know you're going to have to grit through it. And I was like, yep, I know. And that's what I did, is I just gritted through that last 8K. And I was just so elated when I came across and saw that time and saw that I could still break 250. And it just felt so good that I'm really glad it worked out. It was because the night before, I was also talking to one of my other international friends who's a race walker, and I was telling him, like, yeah, it could go either way. It could be a really bad day or it could be a really good day. I don't know with this hamstring. Like, I know I'm fit. I know my fitness is there, but I don't know what my hamstring is going to decide to do. And I'm really glad that it decided to wait. And it gave me a great birthday present, because the next Sunday was my birthday. So
on a 1 to 10 scale, what did your hamstring feel like the last few K?
Oh, like a 10, like a pain. It was excruciating. Oh my gosh. And then the day after, we were touring around Budapest because it's the closest airport, because you're right, Dudince is only 2K long. That's how big it is. So our course was only 1K, so that we weren't taking up the whole town. But we went to Budapest the next day, and we were trying to get to the thermal baths. But we were running a little bit late, and Jacinto and Mara were just like, Robyn, you got to run. And I was like limping. I was like, I'm trying. Like, I'm trying to get there, but I'm good now. It feels good. It's calmed down. I saw the physio last night. I'm going to see him again tomorrow. It's just, I got to stretch. I need to stretch more and be better at yoga. And I'm working with 2 guys in Florida as well. I send them video, and they've given me some stretches to do that I did before the race as well. They specialize in gait and body composition. So they've been, one of I haven't talked to his partner yet, but his partner I'll be working with this week, but they've been incredible. And then Angel, as I said here, has been amazing. But yeah, it was pretty excruciating. I was fighting tears. I was fighting, like, I was like happy, like tears, but then there was like, like I said, like when I went by that girl and I was just like, I actually did let out this, and she was just like, are you okay? Like, yeah, just breathing through it. Just breathing through.
So, I mean, in terms of injuries, I feel like a hamstring's one you could push through depending on if it's tight or pull. But to me, the most annoying injury would be a calf injury, especially for a runner or a walker, because
Oh yeah.
you can't do anything with that if it's pulled, twisted, or whatever.
Well, you can't do anything with a pulled hamstring either. Like you really shouldn't push
Yeah.
through. You shouldn't push
I mean,
through it unless, like, I wouldn't have if I know my body. I've been injured enough in my life. I've been doing this for many years. So I'm really familiar with my body. So I wouldn't recommend just pushing through. I mean, and I'm also with experts. I'm with the best coach I could ask for. He was right there. He's been watching my training. I have one of the best physios working on me, and I'm in good hands. So I wouldn't have I listened to my body and I did what I could have pushed harder, but I did just enough to have a perfect race with no calls and get the records and get the time that I need, and motivate myself because it was a motivating race. But yeah, it was. I do listen to it. I have had a calf injury, and actually, this is all linked to very tight calves. And anybody who's ever worked on my body could probably attest that I'm possibly the tightest person you'll ever know, because I'm super tight.
That would make me second because my calves are never loose.
Oh yeah, my calves are so tight, it's ridiculous. So we've been working on it. I actually in 2016, that's why I missed the Olympics that year, because I pulled my calf muscle a week before Olympic trials in 2016, and I walked the trials. I was ranked top 3, but I ended up 11th and I was so happy because I almost didn't, my coach at the time was Susan Arminta. She was terrified for me to race. She did not want me injured for the rest of my life. And she thought it could cause further damage. So I had like 3 MRIs done. I went to every expert I could possibly see because I missed 2004 Olympics because of an Achilles injury. And then I took 12 years off. I retired from the sport and never expected to come back. And so I was like, no, I'm not missing trials that I've qualified for again. I want to walk. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this. I thought I was going to retire from the sport again after 2016, just because I have bills to pay and stuff. Race walkers don't make money. And so I had asked my doctors, I was like, look, I just want to be able to just cross that finish line. So 2016, that was the success of, I just crossed that finish line and I had my calf all taped up. Ed, one of our just amazing staff members who is usually on the team for Olympics and Worlds and who would work with John Nunn, he had taped me up, which it was funny because that was what got me through the race, but I'm allergic to the glue in the tape. So I actually can't use the tape that everybody uses, like KT tape and all that. Like even I get a little bit of a reaction, like a skin irritant reaction. So I actually, by the end of that 2016 trials race, I was just really itchy behind my knee because of where the tape was. But
Bet you that issue.
yeah, calf injuries are not fun.
Bet you that itchiness made you about 3 minutes faster. Like, I've got to get over with this.
Yeah, I gotta get done. I just want to finish. Yeah. But I mean, that was not my fastest race, but it was a successful race in my eyes because it was the first one I got to finish. that I had qualified for. I didn't even get to start in 2004 because of the Achilles injury. So anyway, but because of my history, I'm really good at listening to my body now. And now more than ever, I'm getting better about stretching, which is really a lame excuse on my end because I was a dancer for several years before I was a track and field athlete. And I used to stretch 30 minutes to an hour every day from the time I was like maybe 8 years old till 16 years old. And then when I started track and field, all of that stopped. And I was never stretching. And then in college, they never give you time to stretch. So then I just got completely out of the habit. And so now my coach actually has to write into my program plus stretching, because if it's on my program, I'll do it. But if he doesn't write it in there, it's like, oh, I'll get around to it. I'll get around. And then I never get around to it. But everybody listening to this, stretching is really important. And that's how our calves won't stay tight. And if your calves are tight, it's going to make other things tight because everything is connected.
So Robyn's going to be busy in the month of May because she's got a 10K in Madrid and a 20K in Corona at the end of the month.
Yes. So why I'm here as well for 3 months. I decided that I could get the most out of my training program and my fitness here with my coach and Spanish teammates, and by participating in our World Athletics Race Walk Tour. So most of the races are in Europe. So it did come at a cost of, I'm making no money this year because I had to decide to forego defending any of my national titles. They had scheduled our 20K this past Sunday to conflict with Dudince. So Of course. Yeah. And they knew about Dudince. They knew I was doing it too. And originally we were supposed to do it April 17th at Mount Sac or at Prefontaine Classic. So we won't get into the politics of why they probably chose this Sunday, where we don't have time for that. But I am participating in the World Athletics Series. And so part of that was Porta Brady, which is what I did in April 2nd, and then Dudince, which is what I just did, and then Madrid 10K, where I'll go after the 10K American record as long as my hamstring holds up, and then A Coruña, where I'm hoping for the 20K American record.
Just set all the American records this year.
Yeah, and make no money while doing it. But I'm having an amazing experience out here, and I'm so grateful for it.
Well, the ultimate goal this year isn't in April, May, June, but July, because for the first time ever, the United States is hosting the World Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon, and somebody's got an auto qualifier.
Yes.
In the 35K.
Yeah, I'm so excited. And Oregon is the heaven for track and field athletes in America. So, I mean, you can't beat, if you're in track and field, you can't beat any other place than Eugene. Like it's just a great place to be. And I'm so happy that that's where we get to have our first world championships in the US. And it'll be really exciting for, I hope we can put on a really good show, for our home country.
Yeah, you just going to do the 35K, I'm guessing?
It depends. I'm hoping to double. I plan to double because the 20K is first and it's a week prior.
July 15th. I think it's actually like the first event of the meet.
The 20K, yes.
Yeah.
And then the 35K is the 22nd. But we'll see now what my coach decides. I do aim for both, but that was before I could be potentially a medal contender. So in the 35K. So now it just depends. We'll see. We'll see how Madrid and A Coruña go, and we'll see how training goes. I'll be training in Colorado in June with the Spanish team, leading up for Oregon. So depending on how all that goes, I'll either just do the 35K or I'll do both, because it's still possible. Like, 20K before the 35K is the perfect arrangement. And we have a whole week between. And normally I'm going to be doing a 20K a week before a 35K anyway. So in training in general. So.
And plus, you get all the jitters out of the way, because how many times you see all the top runners struggle in their first race because their nerves are so different, especially for you, because this is going to be the first Worlds on American soil.
Yeah, I don't actually tend to get nervous. If
Be honest,
anything,
I can't sleep before any of my races.
really? Oh, I sleep so much before my races.
How do you
almost-
sleep? What do you do the night before a race?
I like to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep for at least 4 days going into a race. So
I mean, the night before sleep, just like turn off all the. Maybe my problem is I keep all my devices on me.
you got to turn off your devices. I do. So the night before is harder to sleep, get my 8 to 10 hours. That's why I'm so adamant about getting it 4 days in a row going in, because it's just in case the night before, if I don't sleep well, it doesn't matter, because usually it's the sleep that you get 2 nights before that's the most important. So I don't always get that 8 to 10 the night before. Sometimes it's only 6 hours, but I'm in bed 8 to 10 hours before I need to get up, and I'm relaxing, and I just try to make sure I'm just doing stuff that don't stress me out. But yeah, you don't want your phone next to you. You need to sleep, especially you, because you have a podcast that you're probably getting, and you update your Twitter a lot and stuff. And so it's like, you want to make sure you're not like, and getting pulled away. And that's what I have to do, is I just put my phone, I always have my phone on silent for one. I hate the sound of ringtones. So the only time it's a problem is when I misplace my phone. I can't find it, because when people are like, oh, I'll just call it, I'm like, that doesn't help, because my phone's completely on silent at all times. But that's the other thing, is it's always on silent. The only time I'm going to see a message is if I wake up to pee. And I'm really good about, I love sleep. I think it's so important. Sleep and hydration is like the secret to everything. Just health.
Especially in Florida's heat and humidity, because you can attest, when you ran the Olympic trials in Eugene, walked the Olympic trials in Eugene last year, it felt more like a sauna.
Yeah, but I love it. I'd rather be in a sauna than freezing. So I like being hot. I mean, yeah, it doesn't it's not the best for the fastest times, but yeah, it's very important, because if you're sweating all that out, especially because you guys have humidity, right? In Florida. So yeah, you're sweating out. So you want at least, in general, everybody should have about 64 ounces. But if you live in a humidity place, you should be getting at least 120 ounces of water or electrolytes every day. And most people barely get 8 ounces. So that's
so do you have a goal for the Worlds, or just take it as it be? Especially in the 35K, where that's a different event, because the women walked 20K at the Olympics last year, while the men did 20 and 50.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, the sexism there, but this is the first time that we get both, and it'll be interesting to see what some of the women choose to do. The men have always been lucky year after year, because some of them make Olympic teams solely because there are 2 events for them. And so their bigger competitors choose the other event. For us, we only had one. So it'll be interesting to see. Like, I know, like, the Spanish team, the Spanish are probably among some of the best race walkers in the world. I mean, they are among the best race walkers, men and women. They have such a strong field that my friend Mar, my friend and teammate, she's the 4th Spanish race walker, but she's ranked 15th in the world, and she won't make the team depending if the other 3 girls ahead of her choose to do the 35K. So it'll be interesting to see like what some of the girls choose to do, because there's a lot of girls that are really good at both. the 20K and the 35K. But not everyone's going to double. I know European Championships is 2 weeks later. So it all depends what like a lot of the European walkers, what they're going to prioritize more, the European Championships or World Championships. Some prioritize European Championships more, I think, because they just get a better payday with those kind of results. So it'll be, I don't know, it'll be really exciting to see what everybody ends up doing. And it's going to be it's going to be an exciting race. Both of them. It's going to be terrible.
I know Slovakia, Japan's got a rich history in race walking, but yet in last summer's Olympics, it seemed like a lot of Japan's runners struggle with the pressure and maybe the expectation of a race walking powerhouse.
Oh yeah, well they don't have as many women, but their men are incredible. For the women, it's the Chinese, but yeah, I think the pressure just got to them because in like the Japanese culture, honor is everything. And it's like they want to honor their country. And I think that they still medaled. But I remember like he should have won and he was crying and you could tell he just felt so devastated, like he let down his country. And yeah, he did this remarkable time. But yeah, I think the pressure just got to a few of them because it's in their hometown and honor is such a big part of their culture. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what athletes pick for Eugene, whether it's 20, 35, whether some just stay in Europe for the Euros this year. How about a crazy year with Worlds, Euros, and Commonwealth this year? Lord.
Yeah. One of my friends, Beth Ann Davies, she actually might not. She was in Dudince. She just broke her own national record there. She might not even do World. I'm not sure because she has Commonwealth and she has European Championships as well. And so it's like they're back to back to back because it's Worlds, then Commonwealth is the weekend after, and then European 2 weeks later. That's quite a bit of just going all over.
Just because, yeah, I'm trying to think where would I think the Euros are in. Trying to think here. I think the Euros are in Berlin or somewhere. Not exactly sure.
Oh, the European Championships is going to be in Munich, I think.
Okay. Well, I'm in the right country.
Yeah.
Just a little north, maybe. Yeah, just a wrong area. So.
Well, I have the advantage that I'm here in Europe, and I just talked to Beth Ann, so.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why I know. But and then also like all my teammates here are getting ready for it. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know if they're using the same course. I know the German National Championships is April 30th. And I'm not sure if they're doing the same course for Commonwealth, but if they are, we'll have a little glimpse of that's what I love about Europe is they're really good about coverage. You can always watch the events.
Yeah, the Commonwealth's in Birmingham, England, and the Euros will be in Munich. So it's going to be a crazy year for everybody.
Yeah, and then they're expensive places to fly to too. You know, flying all the way to Eugene and then flying all the way to London and then Munich. It's just that's a lot. So.
Yeah. Where's NetJet when you need them?
Yeah.
So
our private jets.
Yeah.
I think that's what every athlete should do. We all should just go get our pilots. Like anybody who's college age, I advise you get your pilot license. You may need it later. So fly yourself everywhere for cheap.
Yeah, take my Cessna. The only problem is how you want to fly over the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Maybe fly to Bermuda.
Yeah, or Bermuda. Oh, speaking of, we don't even know. We're still waiting on word for our NACAC, and it was supposed to be either in Bermuda or Costa Rica. So, and that's going to be, I think, in October. So
Just adding.
tangent.
So thank you for hopping on, Robyn. We wish you well, and hopefully this year you'll be rocking the Stars and Stripes in Eugene, because there'd be nothing more exciting than seeing you on the awards, on the athletic stage this summer.
Thank you so much. And I thoroughly enjoy chatting with you, Dylan. Thank you for your time.